Labor has been weaponising all things Trump to attack Peter Dutton. And it must be said the opposition leader is not dealing with these attacks particularly well. But the Prime Minister himself has been struggling to explain some of his own commentary regarding the US President. Watch this rather bizarre exchange.
Prime Minister, you've previously said that Donald Trump scares the shit out of you. What scared the shit out of you? And are you still frightened by those things about Donald Trump?
No, as Prime Minister, I have a constructive relationship with the President, and I've had 2 very constructive phone calls with him.
But sorry. What scared the shit out of you? You didn't answer the question. What actually scared you about him?
As Prime Minister,
you said this.
As Prime Minister, I have a constructive relationship with the President, and I look forward to continuing to engage with him.
Oh dear, what we have there is a weak, reckless leader who made ill-advised comments about a former president who anyone with a fully functioning brain knew was likely to be a future president. Joining me now for more on this is the panel. We've got Sky News contributors Peter McQueen and Teena McQueen. Teena, Labor and the media have been using Donald Trump to attack Peter Dutton, trying to capitalise on the, almost uniformly terrible coverage of US politics that we get in this country. Is it working in scaring the electorate and making them think Peter Dutton is Donald Trump 2.0?
No, I don't think it's working at all. And I think Peter Dutton been wise to agree and go hand in hand with Donald Trump on a lot of policies. So this won't work at all. I mean, this Albanese continuing Trump thumping isn't going to work. There's a lot of admiration for what Trump's doing in the US by Australians around the country. So this tactic will not work and may very well backfire against the Prime Minister.
Prue, but Dutton isn't really leaning into it either. He seems to be scared of even talking about it. You either embrace it and point to the great things that are happening in the US and point out, we are a different country, he's got different policies, or you tackle it in some other way. He seems to just sort of be allowing Labor to set the tone when it comes to this issue.
Well, he's underestimating the fact that Labor are street fighters. They play dirty. They play the man, as we know. And I don't necessarily agree with Teena in this, but I think that their policy of attacking Dutton and weaponising Trump against him is working in some cases. I think that it's true that Albanese is hoping for a Trump bump. That's what they're all predicting if his liberation tariffs come in. And any sane person would understand that what Dutton is actually supporting of Trump is things like abandoning woke policies in school and generally in the community. And, cutting back on the Federal Department of Education. Why the hell do we have a Federal Department of Education when we have states, governments running the education system? So I think draining the swamp of public servants is a good idea. And he's been very clear, Dutton, about not, draining the swamp when it came to frontline workers. So I just think that Dutton needs to be more aggressive generally. We have big-fisted, chest-pumping Albanese, who was missing in action for so long when it came to trying to advocate against these tariffs. I mean, apart from not being able to even get a phone call with the president, we have useless Rudd, who's demeaned Trump so much, being our advocate. Well, no wonder we're in this situation.
But I think you're right, Rita. I think Mr Dutton really has to man up on this and not be wishy-washy about it. These ads will work if Dutton does not stand up for his relationship with Trump and the policies that he admires and will take on board.
Well, he needs just to be bolder across the board. Let's talk about those tariffs, though. Tomorrow has been dubbed Liberation Day in the US, with Donald Trump set to announce a list of tariffs impacting Australia as well that should be taking place with immediate effect. Australian meat, agriculture, pharmaceuticals, even the media, all face possible tariffs. Teena, we have shot ourselves in the foot here with the negotiation, because some of those unwise comments that we've had from Labor ministers, from the PM, as we just heard, and former prime ministers who cannot keep out of the media, none of that helps when you're trying to negotiate an exemption. And Australia was in a fairly unique position because we've got a trade deficit with the US and most countries don't. So we perhaps could have got an advantageous deal if our politicians were a little bit smarter.
Yeah, they've really blown it, particularly Malcolm Turnbull, as Prue said, Kevin Rudd. And, you know, President Trump, he doesn't take kindly to these to these remarks, and he's got a long memory. So I think we've handled it very poorly. We've gone totally the wrong way about it. There are plenty of avenues we could have used to get to President Trump that Albanese did not take advantage of. There's a number of private Australians that have a close relationship with the president. We could have gone that route. So I think, yeah, it's a real shame that that's happened, and clearly these tariffs are going to have some effect in our country. All I can hope for is a change of government where I'm certain that relationships will be better with the president. So we just have to hope that the government does change and we can readjust our relationship with President Trump and fix some of these arrangements that will be, no doubt, be put in place on April 4th over here.
Now let's check in with the social media campaigns of the major parties. Let's start with Labor. This is their latest effort.
Authorised P. Erickson, ALP Canberra.
Okay, it looks like the Liberals are taking a page out of Labor's playbook in trying to appeal to younger voters with these sort of left field ads. They've used the awful Snow White movie to mock Labor.
This movie is such a flop.
Yeah, people would walk out even if they played the film on a plane. But it's still better than this mid-awe Labor government.
You think this trash movie is better than their debt-filled budget? Labor are terrible, but this movie is a tougher watch than TikTok in the meme depression.
Look, I know we got 2 out of 10 on IMDb, but have you seen the power prices under Labor?
Authorised by Ahurst Liberal Canberra.
Prue, you are the PR maven. What do you think of what you've just seen?
Look, I can understand why they're targeting this generation and online media, because it's the main consumption now of many, many voters of all demographics. But I think these 2 attempts are really quite pathetic. You know, too hard, too long, too cryptic. I just don't understand it. I suppose one could argue that they're a bit better than Claire O'Neill's attempts, you know, homegrown attempts, and Bowen's attempts. But really, you know, they're not hitting the mark. What they need to do is probably get some younger people, not these, you know, sort of advertising types who are probably sniffing all sorts of different things in between, you know, coming up with creative campaigns, you know, to come up with some ideas. But I just think these miss the mark.
Well, we've got another one for you, because it's not just the major parties, the minor parties, the independents, they're all joining in. Let's have a look at Senator Fatima Payman's effort.
Is that we're capping. We're capping.
Unc just said he's capping. ICL, TSPMOSDB, FR, wilted rose emoji.
Teena, I'm not sure exactly what that was about, but I did have a look at the Instagram comments, and they weren't complimentary is all I can say.
Rita, I must be ancient. I don't get any of these ads. The Labor one in particular. The Liberal one, I think, was silly to use the Snow White reference, because that actress in Snow White is the wokest of woke, and although the movie apparently is shocking, she'd still have plenty of fans, so I wouldn't touch that. And Fatima, look, very few people know who she is. She has very little to say and are going to be even more confused by watching that.
Yes, yes. Now, the Liberals have started adding Monique, don't take this sign posters alongside their Amelia Hamer posters in the seat of Kooyong. This is clever. This is after the husband of the Teal MP, Monique Ryan, was caught on camera removing one of Hamer's campaign ads last week. Teena, this is actually clever. It's employing humour, and it's making the point. It's reminding that electorate of what happened.
That's right. Look, I think it's brilliant. And I was having a particular tough day the other day when I first saw this ad, and it really made me just burst out laughing. I think it's a joyous, clever ad, and we need more like this to win an election.
Prue, what else can the major political parties do to get through to the electorate? Because not everyone is obsessed with politics as we are. Much of the country is apathetic. They kind of consume what they have to. How do you get through to the average Australian?
Well, I think that the messaging just has to be simple and clear. Everything they do needs to have a resolution. Why? When I heard Dutton during his pub test on Sky, and he was talking about the fuel excise, but then he didn't drive it home and saying every person, whether you pay tax or not, will pay less for their fuel. You know, they don't sell properly, and so I think they also, because Labor is so clever at obfuscating and taking the eye off the ball, they talk about things, but they don't get the clear message out there. And I just feel that the Libs in particular allow Labor to get away with lies and murder generally. You know, so I think that, you know, cutting very clear communications is the way to go across all channels.
I think you're right, Prue. And Rita, we need to go back to when Tony Abbott won, and, you know, the 3-word slogans were cut the tax, stop the boats, things like that. Short and concise messages is what Peter Dutton, the Liberal Party, need to adopt.
Yep.
Absolutely. Just the word excise, I think people tune out. People understand 100%. Tax, but and they understand dollar amounts. So if you say that will save you $20 per week, whatever the amount is, that's what gets through. Now, let's talk about Victoria. Victoria Police Commissioner Rick Nugent, who was sworn into the top job after Shane Patton was forced out of the role in February, has made the shock decision to quit, plunging Victoria Police and the Allen government into even greater chaos. Prue, the acting Chief Commissioner, quit after just 41 days in the top job. There's allegations of inappropriate conduct involving a conflict of interest. This is during his previous stint as a commissioner, and these complaints have gone to the anti-corruption watchdog. But Prue, it's a mess.
Well, who would touch it? You know, the job is really toxic. When you think that everything that is done in Victoria in particular is politically motivated. The police commissioner's job, I don't care who's sitting in the chair, is virtually untenable unless you capitulate and commit to what Allen and co dictate. You may as well give up. And I don't know whether this guy's past had any real influence, or if it's a political gotcha where they've decided this guy isn't playing ball, so we need to get rid of him. Let's dig up some potential dirt. I don't know. All you know is that everything that happens in Victorian politics stinks.
Well, yes, and if you want to see Victoria nationally, another term of the Albanese government may just get you there. Yep. Now, before you go, Teena, I've got to ask you about this piece I saw in the Australian's margin call column. A bit bizarre if you ask me. It was an attack against the Whitehaven Coal director Raymond Zage because he likes posts on social media that are in support of Trump and Elon Musk. He noted that Elon Musk would be a fantastic president. It's a shame he can't run to be president. This anonymous columnist labelled that embarrassing and nutty. I mean, where is this coming from? Where is this? It's almost like we're back into 2016 where they don't seem to appreciate that this is the duly elected president of the United States and he enjoys enormous support, not just in America.
Yeah, look, he's been overwhelmingly elected. So, you know, everyone's got the right to say, but I think, and if you want to support Trump and praise what him and Musk are doing, you should be able to without being ridiculed. I mean, it's just ridiculous. And good on him for saying what he really believes and what his thoughts are regarding the US. And, you know, that's a bold, brave move, and I think more of us should do it.
Absolutely, and I had a look at the comments from the Australians readers, and they were not too impressed with the angle the columnist had taken, the unnamed columnist. Peter McQueen, Teena McQueen, thank you so much for your time tonight.